Hostilities in the Gaza Strip and Israel. Day 85. Heavy Israeli bombardment from air, land and sea continued across much of the Gaza Strip, including central Gaza, the southern town of Khan Yunis, and Jabalia camp in northern Gaza. The firing of rockets by Palestinian armed groups into Israel also continued. Additionally, ground operations and fighting between Israeli forces and Palestinian armed groups continue to be reported over the past 24 hours, resulting in additional fatalities inside the Strip. Between the afternoons of 4th and 5th January, 162 Palestinians were reported killed and another 296 people were reported injured by the Ministry of Health (MOH) in Gaza. Overall, between 7 October and 5th January, at least 22,600 Palestinians were killed in Gaza, according to the MOH. About 70% of those killed are said to be women and children. During the same period, 57,910 Palestinians were reportedly injured. Since 4th January and as of 5th January, no additional Israeli soldiers have been reported killed in Gaza. Overall, since the start of the ground operation, 173 soldiers have been killed and 1,020 soldiers injured in Gaza, according to the Israeli military. On 5th January, UNICEF announced that a survey conducted on 26 December found that about 90% of children under 2 years of age are consuming 2 or fewer food groups. Most children are reportedly only getting grains, including bread or milk, meeting the definition of severe food poverty. Dietary diversity for pregnant and breastfeeding women are reportedly severely compromised, with 25% having only consumed 1 food group a day before the survey and almost 65% only 2 groups. According to UNICEF, the malnutrition is particularly worrisome for over 155,000 pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers, as well as more than 135,000 children under 2, given their specific nutrition needs and vulnerability. On 5th January, UNICEF's executive director stated that time is running out. Many children already face severe acute malnutrition in Gaza. As the threat of famine intensifies, hundreds of thousands more young children could soon be severely malnourished, with some at risk of death. We cannot allow that to happen. According to UNICEF, cases of diarrhea in children under 5 years of age rose from 48,000 to 71,000 in just 1 week starting from 17 December. This is equivalent to 3,200 new cases of diarrhea per day. Before the escalation in hostilities, an average of 2,000 cases of diarrhea in children under 5 were recorded per month. It has been reported that displaced children and adults are unable to maintain the necessary hygiene levels, with some resorting to open defecation. The inability to prevent diseases is attributed to the lack of safe water and sanitation due to damaged or destroyed essential water and sanitation systems in Gaza Strip. Additionally, UNRWA reported that diaper supplies are not sufficient as they cover only 25% of the babies in shelters. On 5th January, the World Food Programme (WFP) provided wheat flour, salt, yeast to 9 bakeries in Deir al-Balah and Rafah to produce bread at a subsidized price. 6 of the 9 bakeries have started operations, while 3 remain non-functional as a result of evacuation orders, but are expected to be operational soon. Bread is the most requested food item, particularly as many families lack the basic means for cooking. On 4th January, WFP had reached more than 100,000 people, with rolling distribution of food parcels sufficient for 10 days for each family in Rafah, Khan Yunis, and Deir al-Balah. As of 5th January, media reports indicate that the Jabalia refugee camp has been severely flooded with water and waste. This is noted to have been the consequence of damage to the Abu Rashid reservoir pumping station and infiltration from the lagoon in Jabalia. This poses life-threatening risks of contamination and outbreak of communicable diseases among already vulnerable communities residing in overcrowded conditions. On 5th January, 80 trucks with food, medicine, and other supplies entered the Gaza Strip through the Rafah and Kerem Shalom crossings. The Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator stated that the humanitarian community has been left with the impossible mission of supporting more than 2 million people, even as its own staff are being killed and displaced, as communication blackouts continue, as roads are damaged and convoys are shot at, and as commercial supplies vital to survival are almost non-existent. Medical facilities are under relentless attacks, while they are overwhelmed with trauma cases, critically short of all supplies, and inundated by desperate people seeking safety. Stay tuned to our channel for the latest news about hostilities in the Gaza Strip and Israel.